Hello, it's Sunday today, and so, remarkably, I want to talk to you about Sundays and the different ways it affects various kinds of family business. Depending upon where you live in the world, Sunday will have different significance. Here on the outskirts of Istanbul, where I am at the moment, it's market day and I've been out buying fruit and vegetables. But for other people in different parts of the world, Sunday may have huge religious significance. Even if you don't come from a Christian background, it's possible that Sunday is still affecting you for historical reasons. Sunday was a traditional day of rest, day off. And when I say a day of rest and a day off, I'm thinking really about workers in the servant class. And basically, it wasn't so much a day off, it was a day that had a different kind of structure to it. So you were expected to attend church in pews behind your lords and masters, and then afterwards you'd still be in your best clothing. So if you were of a certain age, you would go out for a walk, possibly with a view to courting somebody that you'd seen in the church. So Sundays, in a sense, was a kind of mating day or a prenuptial day for many, many people. Well, of course, that's all changed now. We don't date in that kind of way. But nevertheless, there are certain expectations that come in many families to do with Sundays. So, for example, you might expect to eat a meal with an extended family on a Sunday. Or you might be expected to go for some sort of family treat or outing on a Sunday. Some families, of course, don't consider Sunday in their reckoning at all. It's all wound into something called the weekend, which is kind of unstructured time because children are not required to go to school, and some parents are not required to work. Now, when you're employed by somebody and you're expected to go in at the weekend, particularly on a Sunday, often you can charge overtime for this. And if your employer requires you to come in on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's not convenient to you, you can either refuse, or if you don't feel that you can refuse, you're able to blame the employer. And this is really very, very important. Because when you're just starting out in business, or even when you're just planning your business, it's possible that Sunday is the day when you'll be sitting down in your den or you're over the kitchen table with your spouse, kind of working out how this new business is going to work. And then when you launch it, it could be you launch it part-time, and so Sunday is actually the day that you're working on it. So in other words, you remove a day of rest from the rest of the week when you're employed by somebody else. And this is okay if you're young, but it can be problematic if you have children, because suddenly the structure of your weekend and how you relate to them at leisure times has changed. And they know, and you know, that you can't blame anybody else for this. You can't say, oh, it's my mean boss, or it's because I work for the government and I'm expected to come in because there's some sort of crisis going on. In point of fact, it's because you've decided to set up a business and you're requiring yourself to work in it. And that can lead to a kind of resentment on the part of children that at first miss you. And then they begin to make their own arrangements with their time, and then subsequently they begin to really resent the fact that you're not around for them. They think that you're disinterested. Although, of course, you've set up your business in the first case hoping to offer them something of a better kind of life, which will involve more independence. So when you start a family business, there is a kind of independence, but it's dependent upon your time and how you use it. And that's why lots of young families get into trouble when they attempt to start family businesses. And believe me, I've known quite a lot of successful entrepreneurs that make millions of dollars, but actually their family lives are falling to pieces completely because they treat every day of the week as if it were the same thing. And that's a huge mistake. And what tends to happen is that at some stage they decide that they'll go on holiday with their family. They've made some sort of arrangements that they can do this. And then they spend the whole of the time arguing because there's all this kind of pent-up resentment going on because the person that's actually paid for and the business that's financed the holiday have actually torpedoed the rest of the year. So you need to be careful and factor in how you're going to be with your family in the early stages of your business. Later on in business, it's much, much easier to be employing people. And that's when you cease to have a job in your own business, but rather you work on your business rather than in it. And you can employ other people to fill in on Sundays or parts of Sundays if you require that. And that's really a very, very different kind of experience, but one that you should be aiming for as soon as possible when starting a family business. Well, it's Sunday here and I don't want to work on my business for much longer today. So I'm going to leave it here and I'll be back tomorrow with more useful information and tips from the Family Business book. And you can find links to how to discover more about it in the description below. And so until tomorrow, goodbye.
If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to share your thoughts with other family business owners in the comments section below. You can also respond to thoughts posted by other viewers. Remember to like and share the video and subscribe to this channel. To be sure to receive notifications, you must also click the bell icon at the top right-hand corner of the YouTube page.